Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn chapter number 1, that is nutrition in plants. So let us first understand what is nutrient. Nutrient is that component of food which is necessary for our body. For example, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. These are the 5 main components which are called nutrients, which are important for our body. Okay? Every single individual, every single living individual, be it plants, animals or any other organism that is living, require nutrient. Okay, for that he or she intakes food and the food is assimilated in the body and the nutrients are absorbed in the body. Okay, so how does plants take nutrition? So there are two modes of nutrition, two basic modes of nutrition. That first is autotrophic nutrition and second is heterotrophic nutrition. Let us understand what is autotrophic and what is heterotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition, auto means self. Okay? So self nutrition. That means if an individual or if an organism makes his food on its own is called an autotroph. For example, green plants. Green plants make their own food. They make their food for themselves. Nobody else makes food for them. So they are called as autotroph. Okay? And heterotroph, hetero means other. So heterotroph means an organism which is dependent on autotrophs or other heterotrophs for their source of nutrition or for their food. So heterotrophs is the organisms which are dependent on autotrophs for their food. Autotrophs or other heterotrophs. Okay. So these are the two basic modes of nutrition. So plants come basically in autotrophs. There are only green plants which are autotrophic in nature and they follow a unique process that is known as photosynthesis to make their food. So now we will learn the process. We know that leaves are the food factory of the plant. That means the photosynthesis has to occur in the leaves only. The leaves is the area or the place where the photosynthesis is going to take place. That means all the raw materials which is required in the process of photosynthesis has to reach in the leaves. Therefore, the plant, what does that plant do first? The plant accumulates everything in the leaves. So, at the first place, it requires water and minerals. So, water and mineral is present in the soil. So, from the soil, the roots of the plant absorb water along with it some minerals which are required. So it absorbs, the root of the plant absorbs the water and mineral and transport it to the leaves through the vessels. Comes carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is present in the air. So from air, the leaves absorb carbon dioxide in it. How? On the surface of the leaf, there are tiny pores. Pores means opening होती है, that is known as stomata. Okay, the stomata or the tiny opening होती है plant के leaves के surface पे. तो उन openings के अंदर से the exchange of gases occurs. Exchange of gases means carbon dioxide comes inside the leaf and oxygen is released out of the leaf through these pores only. Green. Why? Because the leaves contain a green colored pigment which is known as chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a green colored pigment which helps the leaves to capture the sunlight or the energy of sunlight. The chlorophyll that is present in the leaves, when sun rays falls on the leaves, the chlorophyll pigment helps to capture the energy of the sunlight, which is used in the process of photosynthesis. So इसका जो नाम है photosynthesis, उसी का यही मतलब है कि photo means light, sunlight. तो sunlight is very important for the photosynthesis, and synthesis means to make. To make the food for the plant in the presence of sunlight is known as photosynthesis. This process is known as photosynthesis. So what are the things that are required for photosynthesis to occur? First is chlorophyll, sunlight, carbon dioxide, water, and some minerals. Okay. So we know now that sun is the ultimate source of energy for all the living beings on this planet. How? Because we all heterotrophs depend on autotrophs for their nutrition. But directly or indirectly we depend on sun for our source of energy. Why? Because we consume food which is prepared by autotrophs which takes energy from the sun. So sun is the ultimate source of energy for all the living organisms. Okay. Now let us understand what is photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is nothing but a chemical process which occurs in the daytime, that is in the presence of sunlight, in which carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight reacts to form glucose and oxygen. So the byproduct is oxygen and glucose. Glucose is stored in the form of starch or used by the plant, and extra is stored in the form of starch which we consume, and oxygen, we all know that plants give out oxygen, so that is released through stomata. Okay, so this is the basic principle of photosynthesis.
Hello students, today we are going to learn part 2 of chapter number 1, that is nutrition in plants. In part 1 we have already discussed the concept of nutrient, nutrition and the modes of nutrition in plants, and also we have learned the photosynthesis. Now we know that photosynthesis takes place in presence of sunlight, chlorophyll, water and carbon dioxide. Other than green plants, algae also produce its own food by the process of photosynthesis, and it looks green because of the presence of chlorophyll in it. Now let us see some other modes of nutrition in plants. Number 1 is parasitic mode of nutrition. Some plants do not have chlorophyll, so they cannot produce their food by photosynthesis. Such plants are known as non-green plants. They depend on other organisms for their food. They are called parasite. A parasite is an organism which lives on or inside the body of another organism and takes shelter and food from that organism. The host in this case is always at loss. For example, Cuscuta or amarbale. It is a parasitic plant. Number 2 is saprotrophic nutrition. That means taking of nutrients by organism from dead and decaying matter is called saprotrophic nutrition. The organism which use saprotrophic mode of nutrition are called saprotrophs. For example, fungi. Next is insectivorous plants. Some plants eat insects. These are called insectivorous plants. They trap and digest the insects for fulfilling their nutritional requirements. They have digestive juices which digest the insects. The examples of insectivorous plants are Venus flytrap and picture plant. Another mode of nutrition is symbiosis or mutualism. That means two different types of organisms live and work together for their mutual benefit from each other. They share shelter and nutrients. For example, lichens. Lichens are composite organism composed of fungus and algae. Fungus is a saprotroph and algae is an autotroph. Fungus provides shelter and algae supply food, so that they both are equally benefited from each other. So this is called symbiosis or mutualism. Find out some other examples of symbiosis. We have learned that plant produce glucose and store it in the form of starch, that is a carbohydrate, but besides it, plant also need proteins and fats. Proteins are nitrogenous substance which contains nitrogen. That means plant also requires nitrogen. Although nitrogen is present in abundance in the atmosphere, but plant directly cannot absorb atmospheric nitrogen. So plant has to get the nitrogen from the soil. Certain types of bacteria called rhizobium bacteria are present in the soil. They convert the gaseous nitrogen into soluble form and release it in the soil. Plants absorb the soluble form of nitrogen along with water and other minerals through their roots. The fertilizers which we add to the field also contains nitrogen and other minerals. So when the plant gets all the nutrients, it also synthesizes proteins and fats. So now let us see how the nutrients are replenished in the soil. Soil has a limited amount of nutrients, and the continuous use of nutrients from the soil by the plants depletes its amount in the soil. So how these nutrients are replenished in the soil, let us learn about this. Some fungus lives in the root of plants. Root of the plant provide shelter and food to the fungus, while fungus provide important nutrients to the plant. This is also an example of symbiosis relationship. Plants requires a lot of nitrogen to grow and to be healthy. So there is a bacteria called rhizobium which lives in the root nodules of leguminous plants such as gram or moong, etc. These bacteria can absorb nitrogen from the atmosphere and make it available for the plant. Rhizobium cannot make such food, hence it provides nitrogen to the leguminous plants, and in return the legumes provide them food and shelter. This is also an example of symbiotic relationship. This has a great importance for farmers. So fields in which leguminous plants are grown from time to time do not need addition of nitrogenous fertilizers. So we see how the nutrients are being replenished in the soil.